If it wasn't for the Most High who was on my side, man, ain't no telling where I'd be.
Mr. Wilson would've known.
Can't nobody tell me nothing different. The Father's been good to me.
So good to me.
Yeah. Wave your hands if you feel me. I'm a witness. Yahweh's been good to me.
So good to me.
Every morning that I rise, I thank Yahweh that I'm living. Keep my enemies at bay and never leave without my fringes. 1611 with me cause I'm on a mission. Talk is cheap, I pay the cost, me and my lines really live it. I don't need no glory, you don't have to know my story. Glad I made it out this world cause this world was never for me. I thought that I was. If it wasn't for the Most High who was on my side, man, ain't no telling where I'd be.
Mr. Wilson would've known.
Can't nobody tell me nothing different. The Father's been good to me.
So good to me.
Yeah. Wave your hands if you feel me. I'm a witness. Yahweh's been good to me.
So good to me.
Every morning that I rise, I thank Yahweh that I'm living. Keep my enemies at bay and never leave without my fringes. 1611 with me cause I'm on a mission. Talk is cheap, I pay the cost, me and my lines really live it. I don't need no glory, you don't have to know my story. Glad I made it out this world cause this world was never for me. I thought that I.
Deconstruction. I'm Shamar Yah, and to my right,
Rakab Allah.
Deacon Rakab Allah.
Con.
All praises to the Most High. Tonight's subject, we are going to be going into extortion, right? Why extortion? Well, the reality of coming into the knowledge that we're Israel and knowing that we have a source, a God that we can call upon for strength, you start to realize, well, everybody reacts differently to power, right? Everybody reacts differently to authority, and everybody reacts differently to influence. And unfortunately, even amongst our communities, right, amongst the camps, the churches, whatever you will call it, a lot of people with this newfound power have taken it upon themselves to say, okay, well, what can I get? What can I do? And what can I use? Well, you know what they're going to use to satiate themselves, right? So let's go to, let's open up with 1 Corinthians 6, and we're going to get 9 and 10.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6, and verse 9.
Uh-huh.
Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God?
Go ahead.
Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind,
Uh-huh.
nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God.
So he said, look, the unrighteous are not going to inherit the kingdom of God. Then he goes on to give a list, right? Fornicator is someone that involves or indulges themselves in an unlawful act of sex, right? That could be adultery, bestiality, pedophilia, homosexuality, incest. That's a good one. Idolaters, anyone who has something that they put above the Most High. Adulterers, specifically people who step outside of their marriage, right? He goes on with this list, and these are some of the more principal things, right? These are some of the more universal, right? I think everyone understands idolatry, being effeminate, a man with the characteristics of a woman, abusing yourselves with mankind, certain habits, certain actions, certain things that fall under the previous categories. But then he starts to go a little further. Thieves, covetous, and drunkards. Well, these aren't necessarily crime, or the first two are, but a drunkard is not necessarily a crime against another individual, right? A reviler or an extortioner. So let's get the definition real fast of extortion. This is out of the Merriam-Webster, extort. It says to obtain from a person by force, intimidation, or undue or illegal power, right? Extortion could be forceful, right? Almost like a robbery. You ever seen those mob movies? Man, you got a beautiful family. It'd be a shame if something happened to him. Well, what does that mean? I don't know, but I heard that you guys are pulling in 20,000 a week, and maybe you should break bread with the mob or whatever. They basically giving you that warning and extorting you out of your resources, right? But there's another side of that. It's not just like the armed robbery or a force on force. It says, or undue or illegal power. You can extort somebody by putting yourself in a position of power or portraying yourself to have a certain power and get what you're looking for from that person with that falsified authority. Let's go to Deuteronomy real fast. Con. Deuteronomy 23, let's get 19 and 20. Because there was a lot of things we wasn't supposed to do to each other, especially when it came down to finances, right?
You ready?
Uh-huh.
Deuteronomy chapter 23 and verse 19. Thou shalt not lend upon usury to thy brother, usury of money, usury of victuals, usury of anything that is lent upon usury.
So usury is interest. It wasn't even before you get to extortion, where you're taking from someone something wrongful, even if you were in a position where you had money or you had authority or you had goods and people were coming to you and they might not have had any other choice. So that's a come up, right? If you was in the world, and that's what we see a lot of people do after natural disasters. All of a sudden, a store that was selling a case of water for $4.99, that case of water is $60. Because they know you don't have any other option. You got to come here. You got to get what I got. And this is an opportunity for me to gain riches, right? We see that. But the Most High said, when it comes down to your brother, you're not supposed to practice those types of things. We shouldn't be looking at each other as the next come up. We shouldn't be looking at each other as the next opportunity. We shouldn't be looking at each other as a way of getting rich by stepping on each other and consuming one another. Go ahead.
Verse 20. Unto a stranger thou mayest lend upon usury, but unto thy brother thou shalt not lend upon usury.
He said, now here's the thing. There are opportunities out there, and there are come-ups out there. Let's keep it real. But you're not supposed to do that with your people. Do that to the heathen, because they'll gladly do it to you. They do it to this day. So when you get the upper hand, do it back. That's perfectly fine. You know how we sit up here, and they don't even give us the fair usury that we would give them, right? They're still uncovering files and uncovering scandals of banks all the way from like the 60s that were charging minority groups higher interest rates than they would other groups of people. They've been doing usury. And when they see you walk through the door and they see an Israelite, they're like, oh, I can get more than the usual rate. Let me put up these contracts that I use for my people, and let me pull out this Israelite contract. Nah, you're not getting a 7%. You're not getting a 3%. I'm going to give you 14 and a half. I'm going to give you 35, 36. That's the legal maximum. He said, because they're not our people, get your money. Go ahead.
That the Lord thy God may bless thee in all that thou settest thine hand to in the land whither thou goest to possess it.
And he said, the Most High, that's one of the things that he's pleased with. So much of how he's pleased with us isn't just the strict guidelines of law as far as fringes and Sabbaths and, new moons or theft. That's a very big aspect of it. But right after the law, so many of the qualifying or disqualifying factors for the kingdom is how you behave and how you treat your people. It's whether or not you deal with your brother as a brother, whether or not you deal with your sister as a sister, and what you do in their times of need. Whether you choose to be an aid, which Christ says he's well pleased with. He said, if you do it to the least of my brethren, you've done it to me. Or if you choose to be an opportunist and you say, okay, well, I'm about to profit off the misfortune of so-and-so, of whoop-de-whoop, because this is my chance. That's not what the Most High is pleased with. And he says, if y'all can just refrain from doing this, he said, that's one of the ways that I can be with you, to be pleased to dwell with you in the land that you go to possess. Let's go over to Isaiah 42. Isaiah 42, and we are going to get 21 and 22.
Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 21. The Lord is well pleased for his righteousness' sake. He will magnify the law and make it honorable.
Go ahead.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith, restore.
That's what we experience. People, all the nations look at us. They see the oppression, the adversity, the poverty, and it's not really a surprise that the heathen behave like vultures with the children of Israel. It's not a surprise that they're against us or that they're adverse to us and our God. But it's a way bigger issue and a way bigger deal when we have those that are amongst us that are the vultures. Those that are amongst us. You know what it's like to grow up in the hood. You know what it's like to go without. You know what it's like to skip some meals. You know what it's like to feel hopeless. You know what it's like to put your trust in somebody and be let down. You know what it's like to be able to look back at your life and say, man, I was being influenced by the wrong things. I was being exposed to the wrong things. So for you to be able to understand firsthand the plight of our people, the plight of your people, and still behave like a vulture and say, let me get in there and pick a little bit more meat off them bones. There's got to be something in there for me. That's wicked. He said, this is a people robbed and spoiled. They're all of them snared in holes. They are hid in prison houses. This was written how long ago, and it's still relevant to this day. So many, our people lead the incarceration rates. Our people lead, poverty rates. Our people are always, that's what the heathen love quoting the statistics. We at the bottom. And for you to see the plight of your people and choose to profit, that's wicked. And it's one thing when you did it, or, when it was happening and we were in the world, right? Because it was dog eat dog. And for the most part, in a lot of scenarios, it still is. But we didn't know any better at that time, right? We didn't know, even in high school, I'm pretty sure a lot of people used to do that. Somebody asked to borrow $1, it's like, all right, well, it's a quarter every day, you don't pay me back. That's usury and a certain level of extortion. When we was in the world and we, had certain practices and was looking for opportunities, we was in sin. We didn't know no better. But to come into this truth, as we call it, to come into the understanding that we are the children of Israel and how much of a requirement and a need there is to restore our people, and to still choose to have these tactics, it is so serious to the Most High. He said that's a disqualifier when it comes down to the kingdom of heaven. That's how serious it is. In 1 Corinthians 6, he goes into like these major offenses: adultery, murder, theft, and then extortion. That's a disqualifier. If you're an extortioner, he said, you have no place in the kingdom of heaven. And there's only two places you can go. You either go into the kingdom of heaven or you go into the lake of fire. And if you have no place in the kingdom, then you're condemned, damned. For what? For some money? For some opportunity? Let's go to Proverbs 23 and 23. And this is the crazy part. Because, again, it would be different. Like, it's nothing wrong with having a business. I don't want to, just criminalize the act of building or social economics or exchanging of goods and services, because that within itself is not evil. We talked about that last week. Our people were skilled. We were skilled craftsmen and craftswomen. When we went into slavery, we didn't go into slavery as slaves. We went into slavery as professionals. You had a whole lot of talent and a whole lot of ability amongst the people that ended up being lost because we were conquered and enslaved, right? So there's nothing wrong with having a business or giving some, there's nothing wrong with having your goods and your services. But the problem comes in because oftentimes we doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. Our people get this Bible and it was freely given to you, and they become opportunists. Now, what's the number one thing that I can sell? I can sell this word. Proverbs 23 and 23.
Proverbs chapter 23 and verse 23. Buy the truth and sell it not. Also wisdom and instruction and understanding.
That's what we're supposed to do. Do what you can to attain the law, attain understanding and wisdom. That's where there's value, right? That's what we should be willing to offer up or sacrifice things to be able to get, because we know that these are the things that will lead us to eternal life. But once you have it, you're not supposed to make merchandise of it. This isn't our word to sell. This isn't our understanding and our law to profit from. Whatever good that comes to you, if someone says, oh man, I see the ministry or what have you, I want to, offer you something, that's perfectly fine. But when you sit up here and put a paywall up in front of what people have need of because you know they have so much need, that's extortion. When you sit up here and like brothers have talked about, people looking for counsel, because we need the help, the advice, the guidance. We need the things that we've lacked growing up and the understanding that we've lacked. God forbid somebody's on they last, or somebody is, their marriage is on the verge of ruin. They not seeing their kids. They contemplating suicide as it gets heavier and heavier. They need counsel and need some type of conversation and exhortation. And it's like, well, brother, go to my website. Go to my website. Pay for the, you sound like you need the 30-minute package. Go ahead and give me some of the basics of your situation so I can kind of prepare what I'm gonna offer you. And once you pay that package, man, send me the confirmation number and I'll call you. That's extortion. Destroying your own people. Charging for the things that we've been given freely. Charging for the things that the Most High has left for us and commands for us to study, to gain, to meditate upon. And seeing that as an opportunity to say, oh man, this dude ain't got no choice. Man, you know how Israel talk. Get off the phone. You think he gonna pay? Man, if he wants this counsel, he gonna pay. If he want this advice, he gonna pay. If he want this lesson, he gonna pay. Just like anything else, man, you're gonna have to figure it out. Go borrow some money. Call somebody. Who do you go to when you having a hard financial time? Do you need the counsel or not? It's cold business. Cold business. Let's go to John 21. And how many of these dudes is in our communities now? You got the word free, right? And you watching YouTube and you getting your understanding. And then as soon as they get some understanding, they like, oh man, we can make some money off this. Then they gotta reel you in, right? They gotta convince you that they've got the best product out there. It's like dealing drugs. Man, I got the purest pack. You gotta come tap in. You gotta come see what it's hidden for. That's the same thing that these dudes be doing with doctrine. Man, see, that's that old doctrine. That's that old stuff. That's that 2020. Man, we in 2025, about to be 2026. You need some new understanding. You need to come and understand this lesson. They put out reels, they put out their little content, and they just putting bait on the hook to see who's gonna grab. And they always convince you, man, I got the hottest new doctrine. I got the best understanding. I got what you need. And it's all confusion. And it's all, I used to hate the term, and I still am not really a fan when people say you're too smart for your own good. I don't think you're too smart for your own good. But people take it so deep that it becomes unprofitable. And it also becomes ambiguous. Plus, where's the profit? Oh, is the earth spherical or is it flat? Well, it's like, bro, where's that going to profit in salvation? Am I going to get to the kingdom of heaven and the Lord's going to ask me, well, you're in a little bit of a rough position, but I'll tell you what, if you can answer this, like extra credit, right? If you can answer this correctly, then maybe we could work something out. Was the earth flat or a sphere? Right. It's like, where's the profit in that? Oh, the lake of fire, it's on the sun. It's like, bro, the whole point is I'm not trying to go. The whole point is it's reserved for the wicked. The whole point is there's a judgment coming. I don't need all of this extra stuff that you profess that you have hiding behind your paywall. I don't need that stuff. That's not needful for salvation. That's not needful for edification. John 21, let's get 15 through 17.
John chapter 21 and verse 15. Yahushua saith unto her. Oh, no,
15 through 17.
So when they had dined, Yahushua saith to Simon, Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my lambs. He saith to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He saith unto him, Feed my sheep. He saith unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahushua saith unto him, Feed my sheep.
So he asked him 3 times consecutively, You love me? He said, Yeah, absolutely. Feed my sheep. You love me? He said, Yeah, absolutely. You know, feed my sheep. You love me? He said, Man, Lord, you know all things. You know I love you. He said, Okay, then feed my sheep. That's what's needed. He said, because you got to tend for the sheep. Our people historically were shepherds. That was an honorable occupation amongst the Israelites. It was a beautiful thing, and it taught a lot of character, a lot of humility, a lot of understanding of cycles. There's a lot of different things you can go into about being a shepherd. But what Christ was showing him was, if you love me, you need to feed the sheep. So much of what's going out, all the doctrine. So here's the thing, right? We in the truth. We say we love Christ. Most people will openly profess, I love Christ. But the intention behind their ministry, the intention behind their prophesying, the intention behind their services is all vain. Self-glory. Go ahead and say it.
Vain, self-glory. A lot of times, these extortioners in Israel, you can see the type of fruit they bear. It don't be nothing good. Nothing good come out of the tax and the usury that they put upon our people.
Right. And at least the Levites had it to where everything that was coming to them, it was in storehouses. Not everything. You know, they still had to eat, and they had families that had to be sustained. But they didn't have inheritance amongst the children of Israel the way the rest of Israel had. They had the sacrifices. Excuse me. And there were portions that were put away into the storehouses so that if you were in a time of need, you could call upon the church. That's what the church is there for. Our temple was the closest connection that the average man and woman amongst Israel could have with the Most High. And it was a community center. It was a place of refuge. You had like instances of, you know, the parable that Yahushua gave with Lazarus and the rich man. You had the poor and the beggars that could go to the temple and look for those that could offer them aid. You had a place of refuge for them to be able to have a centralized location where they could call upon the Lord. And if there was somebody who was in need, they could call upon the church. That's what it's supposed to be. You could call upon your people and glean and get a meal and, you know, have these things. But so much of the money that goes to a lot of these individuals in Israel, it's not even going towards the ministry. it's going towards they saying, oh, well, you know, I can't do this and I can't do that because I got to, you know, teach. And then you teach once a week. You can go get a job. You don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars extorted from your people to be able to have an online ministry. If you living off the people, if you're not living off the people and you giving this your all, then that's a beautiful thing. And that's what we've been called to do. And that's what those that are ordained are called to do. But so much of what ends up going into these ministries is not for the ministry. It is for the person to be satiated with their desires. You giving your lives thinking that you're doing for the Lord, and the Lord loveth the cheerful giver, and alms cover from death, and the whole time, man, he throwing your ones in the club. I kid you not. Throwing your ones in the club. You didn't got an $800 check, and $650 of it was expenses. You struggling. You like, man, I got like $150 left. And you offer your 50, your 75, your last 100. Maybe you get a whole thing because that's the type of spirit you have. And they like, oh, cool. Another little something just hit. We finna go Friday night. We in the club with it this weekend on the Sabbath, throwing ones.
It's crazy because the people that subscribe to these online schools and camps and stuff, oh, that brother's spiritual. He just so spiritual, but I ain't never met the person physically.
Right.
Not one time.
Right. That's
Don't make
huge.
sense.
You really, it's cool, and it's a blessing to be able to have, you know, the resources we have of nowadays. But without a community, especially a righteous community, you really don't know who you're getting. And you really don't know what's going on. But here's the crazy part. Most of these dudes be so bold in their sin and in their wickedness, they will openly show you who they are. They will openly show you through their lessons, through their teachings, but then they be like, yeah, you know, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, yada, yada. You go on their Instagram and you see them in the club. You see them posting recaps on their YouTube. Man, it was a movie. We was at the club with it. We had the bottle service. We had this. We had that.
All praises.
Right. Like, man. And the whole time, you take it from somebody that, at least at some point, I'm assuming people was just not throwing their money away. If you're going to do that, man, there's plenty of places. Hey, I got what they say. I got a Nigerian prince that'll give you $1 million for every 1,000 you give him. If you want to throw your money away. But most people, they're not throwing their money away for no reason. They think they're contributing to a ministry. But who are you giving that to? Are they worthy of those ends? Let's go to Matthew 6:24. So it boils down to what we prioritize, right? What we desire. Go ahead.
Matthew chapter 6 and verse 24. Leave there thy gift before the altar. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he would hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon.
Mammon, by definition, material wealth or possessions, especially as having a debasing influence. He said, you can't serve material wealth and possessions and a fly life and the high life and serve the Most High. Now, there's nothing wrong with having wealth, right? You see Solomon, you see Job, you see David, you see Abraham, you see Isaac. You see a lot of people within the scriptures that were very wealthy individuals, and it wasn't like they was evil just because they were wealthy. But the problem comes in, and it's not to say that you're wicked if you have to work a job. Maybe you already had, you already had a place before you came into this truth, or, maybe you was living with somebody, but that don't last forever. So you have to go and be able to provide for yourself. Nothing wrong when you have to go and get it how what you need. But it becomes a problem when that's what you serve. And that's all of what you do. And that's everything that you desire. And you're willing to put the word, put righteousness, put integrity, put service to the side in order to line your pockets. And if you following someone that's like that, you need to stop following them. You can see it shouldn't take long. And that's one thing. A lot of people will play with a lot of stuff, but one thing they're not playing with is their money. It shouldn't take you long to realize if you're being scammed. How much do you need? Again? For what? If you're under any type of authority, I challenge you to go and ask your leaders, where's the money going? Man, you online showing you didn't brought in tens of thousands of dollars every month for the past how many months? Where's this going?
Show some receipts.
Show some receipts. How much came in from people donations? From the Cash App, from the GoFundMe, from the donations? How much? Okay, so what are we doing with it?
Show me the Carfax.
Right. They in a new Benz. They in a supercar, a hypercar. They taking trips and and only want to go places where they got wives and wife prospects. But they want to do that in your dollar. It'd be crazy. And I'm surprised that people just go with it. I can see if you got a building, okay, cool. If you got a building, all right, the lights is on. You got to have a camera to be able to record everything. You got to have Wi-Fi. I mean, you can't just be there all day and they got no bathrooms. You got to have a bathroom, water. People get hungry. It was hot all summer. It's ideal if you got some AC. All that costs money. That makes sense. If I can go somewhere and I can look at my community center, be in my church, my camp, my whatever, my house of worship, and I see the things that I'm contributing to, that makes perfect sense. How can I do more for my community? Because I see we building. But if I can't see my leader, if I can't meet with this man, and I can't actually, you ain't at least show me something. You can't show me none of where this money's going. Your ministry is run out your house, run out somebody's garage, run out somebody's car. Well, where's all that money going? Oh, but it's run out you do it off your phone, but last week you was at home and this week you at the Ritz-Carlton. Last week you was in Atlanta, this week you in Miami. And then next week you'll be in Vegas talking about fund the ministry. Let's go over to 1 Peter chapter 5.
Is it safe to say that you can relate that to kind of like brothers being online, investing in these online relationships with these women?
Basically, you getting played for a sucker. That's just the reality. Man, and that's the crazy part. It's kind of like normalized now where people, you send all this money and you ain't even met who you, what? Not like the extortion that we see nowadays where it's some like AI generated and you really think you talking to somebody. I'm talking about you just watching YouTube videos and you see this person living this braggadocious lifestyle and it never occurs to you, I never see them doing anything but having fun. How do you make your money? And if you really are one of those people, then break bread. Don't gatekeep, put your people on. There's plenty of people who were in the scriptures, they were righteous, but also they had a great service they could offer. They was righteous and they wrote amazing songs. They was righteous and they had an awesome reputation. They was righteous and they had a reputation of being charitable or giving alms, like Tobit. But if I can't even see that type of stuff, it's like you being played. 1 Peter chapter 5, let's read 1 through 4.
The elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder, and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed.
Go ahead.
Feed the flock of Yahweh, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind.
So this was Peter, right? He was one of the only, if not the only apostle that walked with Christ that actually lived the rest of his life. And he still ended up being They say he was crucified upside down. Still met a death, right? But he lived longer than most. And he said, look, this is how we're supposed to take on this calling. He said, feed the flock, which is amongst you, taking the oversight, not by constraint, but willingly. So for one, don't do it being frustrated and feel like somebody owe you. Because the person that's going to reward you is far greater than whatever man can give you. Yahweh Shai is going to reward you. He's going to give you more than any of the things that somebody here on earth might be able to provide you for the services you can do unto them, right? And there's nothing wrong if somebody says, man, I see what you're doing. I love the works. I have an opportunity. I can discern you are building or y'all are building. And here, let me put in my piece. Let me put in my, my contribution. Let me support the ministry because it's a real ministry. But he said, so don't do it by constraint, but willingly and not for filthy lucre. Don't do it for the money. Because when you come with this Bible, you have a lot of control over people's lives. That's the reality. You have a lot of influence. And you know what's crazy? Right after prostitution, extortion is like the second oldest hustle in the book. Right. That's like the second oldest profession. The same way a lot of these prostitutes, they all of a sudden, they turn into, and I'm not talking about the ones that's sincere, but the ones that be like what was her name? Krishan Rock. She became a godly woman for like a month. And all of a sudden, it's all about Jesus, and then she's all holy, and then look at she right back on foolishness, right back jump from man to man, right back acting a fool on TV, right back doing what she do. But the crazy part about it is, more than the women that get the attention, it's the dudes. They was pimping. And then they come into a church, and not even necessarily in the truth, but even within the Christian church. How many of them pastors was pimps? They like, oh, this is easy. I get to keep my Cadillac. I get to keep my mink, my fur coat. And the same way that I could talk a woman into going and defiling herself and being a sucker and, just bringing me everything she got. He said, if I could just speak well enough to this flock of people, they're going to do the same. They're going to bring me their hard-earned money, and they're going to throw it into my pockets. There's so many extortioners. Now, when we're talking about the Christian church and, how far back that doctrine goes in the wickedness and the influences that we see, it's not that much of a shock. But when you come into the truth and you have Israelites and you see fringes and maybe zits and caps, and they trying to do that same thing. They slick Rick. Talk you right up out them pockets. Right up. And that's what they do it for. Call upon them when you need, especially if it got something to do with money. Cold, hey, you might get some cold responses. I remember being young. I was a kid at a Christian church, Holy Pilgrim Temple, if I'm not mistaken. It was somebody who was in need that had paid, or you know what, Salakia, let me not put that name. I don't think that was that church. But it's not like they not doing it. Most of these Christian churches, that's exactly what they after, and that's what their interest is. But there was a church, it was a woman that was paying her tithes, which aren't even tithes, but that's another story. She was doing it for years faithfully and ended up needing a loan. And the church told her no. After years of giving she was giving her last, or at least, giving what she can for I don't know how long. She turned around and fell on hard times, and they was like, man, you might need to go talk to your bank, or you got good credit, you got some credit card. Like, damn, how much money have I contributed to this community? I can't access something when I need help. You used to watch my mom. We broke. Could get McDonald's. We ain't got McDonald's money. And all of a sudden we get to church on Sunday. Now, that was at Holy Pilgrim Temple. All of a sudden we get to church on Sunday and you giving 10% every week. I'm like, damn, ain't that 40% a month? I'm like, are you giving out of what you make in a month? You giving out of what you make in a year? How do you even ration what you about to contribute? But mind you, nobody came to her and was like, you know what, sister, you you just lost your job and you got all, you got your kids and you going through this and that. We understand that you don't have the fight. They was like, nah, you need to pay your tithes. We know what, sister, we know that you sick and, you have a terminal illness. So everything that you get at this point should just be for you and your family. Matter of fact, what do you need? It was still like, give of faith, be faithful, be faithful. That's not going to God. What need does God have of these things or of this money outside of sustaining the churches that he has delight in? But you're not literally giving this money to God. To God. He said, not a filthy lucre. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being ensamples to the flock. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourself unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility. For God resisteth the proud and giveth grace to the humble.
And he said, submit yourselves to the elder, right? Let's go to Titus chapter 1. Let's get 10 and 11. And that's the frustrating part, even though it's a blessing to be able to get the word out and, to be able to help our people, because some people, online is the best we could do. We have congregations across the globe. It's not feasible that every month or every other month we're going across the world to go visit a congregation that has all praises to the Most High said that they want to follow. If we have the finances, by all means, but we know those things are expensive. But again, if you're somewhere in the world that's watching these classes and you see, okay, but here's the thing, we will make those visits. We put it out, okay, cool, this is what we're trying to do by this time. Let's get the money together, send some jakes over there, and be able to exhort the people, encourage the people, allow them to see who they're following and see who they're associated with, allow them to get acquainted to what it is that we're building and the mission that's been left for us. Sometimes that is all you're going to get for a time, but it shouldn't be that forever, especially when them teachers is taking trips every other month just not to see you. They going out. They be outside. Just not where you at. Just not to tend to the flock. Just not to bring relief to the fatherless and the widow. They outside for their own lusts. They outside for their own desires. Titus 1, 10 and 11.
For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake.
And they'll do it for the money. And it's one thing, because you would think, like, when somebody has that damnable heresy, it's like an infection. They never want to be sick alone. They always want to put the bait on the hook. They always want more people to come unto them, more disciples, more students, more followers. They always looking for somebody else. Because at the end of the day, they realize the more people I get in here, the more money I'm finna get. Was that not what the Pharisees were doing? Where they had all that influence and they had all them people flocking to them. And then what was they doing in the temple? They was buying and selling. Christ went in there and flipped the table. I can't believe y'all doing that in the temple. Because that's where everybody going. You don't think they was giving out loans because somebody was going there to pray to the Most High, and then they walked by a table full of Pharisees and, oh, come sit down, son, and, yeah, we're willing to offer you, them 10 shekels, them 10 offers of gold at a rate of 45%. Like, I'm already here because I'm in debt. I ain't going to never make it. I ain't going to never make it out at this point. That's why Christ went in there furious. Can't believe y'all made my father's house like this. What did he say? A den of thieves. Y'all sitting up here stealing from the people. They come in here to pray and seek relief from the Lord, and before they even get into the main room, they come across you, and they probably think that that's a prayer answered. Whole time it's a snare set by the devil. He said, subverting whole houses, teaching things which they ought not for filthy lucre's sake. They'll go this way for the money, they'll go that way for the money. They'll do this for the money, they'll do that for the money. You see how many people, and they're not of the circumcision, but you see the recent trend recently has been all these celebrities that have come out and said, or at least a few. For sure, I've seen Kanye and I've seen Young Thug so far. They shaking hands with a rabbi and, you know, showing their support and giving their reverence, and they'll do whatever for that money. Man, you know, today I got to be this, and that way. But tomorrow, you know, it's going to be more advantageous to change it because I know I'm going to have a big baller coming in and he not really with all that adultery stuff, so I'm going to change my lesson up. What? I'm going to just kind of omit a few of these things because I need this dude to feel at home. They'll teach wicked doctrines. It's a den of thieves. Come one, because what that is come one, come all. Y'all have to change. You ain't got to do nothing but pay your subscription. Send that money. Let's go to Matthew real quick. 23, let's get 24 and 25.
Matthew chapter 23 and verse 24. Ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel.
Go ahead.
Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye may clean the outside of the cup and of the platter, but within they are full of extortion and excess.
He said, you will look a certain way because you know you need to look a certain way to gain those followers. You know how many people it is in Israel, you see them on a regular day, they do not wear fringes, and all of a sudden when they know they're going to be at a gathering, they going for business, they going with a service. They might not even be selling the word, but they will throw them fringes on because they know they need to be looked at a certain way. And all of a sudden, they got on fringes because they want you to try their product. And hey, oh, I got a free sample. Oh, no, man, that's for the free. Because they know, oh, yeah, once I get you hooked, you're going to come back. Now, 3 months down the line, you already a consistent customer. Then they're like, okay, cool. Oh, fuck. I don't have to wear these fringes anymore. I don't have to keep talking about the Sabbath. Cool, I got a customer. They'll appear and put on, but they're looking to extort you. They're looking to take what you got. They're looking to profit off the people. And these are they of the circumcision. Let's go to Jeremiah 23. It's unfortunate, man. It would be beautiful. Well, you know what? Let me not even say that, but let's get Jeremiah 23, 1 through 4.
Jeremiah chapter 23 and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture.
Go ahead.
Saith the Lord. Therefore thus saith the Lord God of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evil of your doings, saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries, whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase.
So he said, woe unto the pastors that scatter, because there's you can scatter with doctrine. If you're looked at as a leader, as an officiator, whatever the case may be, it comes, like I said, you have power. That's just the reality. You got influence. And the problem comes in where those damnable heresies to be able to satiate lusts are taught, and you lead people further and further away from the truth. You got people who claim to observe the Sabbath that will wear fringes when they feel like it and will teach you that it's perfectly fine to go woman to woman. And it's perfectly fine to go man to man. And sex isn't marriage. You can go sleep with a harlot. You can go do whatever it is that you need to do to get your rocks off. They teach people this. They scatter that flock. And it ain't like they finna go and repair or go and uplift and go and bridge gap. It's not happening. The people are scattered and they not even being checked up on. What type of shepherd is that? Let's go to Isaiah 1. 1 and 23.
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 23.
Uh-huh.
Thy princes are rebellious
Uh-huh.
and companions of thieves.
Uh-huh.
Every one loveth gifts and followeth after rewards. They judge not the fatherless, neither do they cause of the widow come unto them.
So they have the position, and that's the thing. It's a beautiful thing when there's a person in a position of righteousness and authority. Or excuse me, a person who's in a position of authority that leads righteously. It's a beautiful thing. Everybody can discern and feel at ease. Okay, this is a righteous shepherd. All praises. When you really have an opportunity to prove somebody's spirit, you really get a chance to see who they are, and you see that they're righteous, it's an immediate relief. Oh, thank God. Because I need some help. I need some guidance. I need some life spoken into me. But he said the princes of our people, they're rebellious. The celebrities, the notable characters, the public figures, he said they follow after gifts. That's what they're looking for. What you got for me? They love to visit the givers. They love to visit those that's gone. Oh, here, oh, you, yeah, oh. They love it because that's what they following after. It's like they gonna sniff it out. That's an opportunity. He said, and that's the sad part. They don't judge the fatherless. They don't go and look out for those who don't have a defense, because that's what your father is supposed to be. A father, he's the foundation of the household. Before you know, I don't want to say before you know the Lord, but a man looks to his father as his strength. That's a product, or that's what you're going to become. That's what you're a product of. So when you can see glory and strength and honoring your father, it's like you see glory, strength, and honoring yourself. But if you don't have that father, then that's where the men of the Lord are able to come in and say, okay, man, but trust in the Most High. And as far as a physical attribute, I got your back. As far as someone here on this earth, I'm going to be here for you as much as I can be within righteousness. He said, but these wicked men, they're not doing that. They don't go and check up on the widow. We know you lost your husband and you've been a contributor for all these years. We here for you. Whatever you need, we got you. They not pleading those type of causes. They look, as soon as you stop benefiting the Pharisees, they was done with you. They seen people as commodities. Let's jump over, because here's the crazy part. Let's go to Ezra 2 and 62. Now, when it's not just about teaching, you know, I guess, well, it's a mixture. It's a mixture of the 12 tribes chart, which is false, right? It's very, for one, the description that the scriptures give is not like, I don't want to say empirical, but without, what is it, indoutable? Ezra. It's not foolproof. There it is. It's not foolproof information. It's not foolproof to be able to say, oh yeah, you know, you are you like a donkey, and like, bro, you cannot tell a 10 tribe. Now I might be able to say you 10 tribe, because I know 2nd Ezra says that they came here before before mankind dwelt, and they became known. Oh, that makes sense. As a Native American, they were here. But at one point, this land wasn't even inhabited at all. So I can say, okay, that person is more than likely 10 tribe. But to identify exactly which tribe you're from and you got these attributes and I can just see it in your spirit, that's not the case. The scriptures say he scattered us with a whirlwind. I have never seen a whirlwind pick a whole bunch of stuff up, throw it in the air chaotically, and then it lands in order. You ever seen a tornado rebuild a house? Restack the bricks that it scattered, the roof that it tore off? It don't do that. It throws it wildly into the wind. And you don't know, if you was to, after a natural disaster, go and look at all the pieces, you're going to be able to identify which pieces came off your house? Oh, yeah, there go my bathroom door. That's unlikely. It's highly unlikely. So how then, if we've been scattered with a whirlwind, it's not like Esau was getting us up on boats and saying, hey, man, I want everybody from the tribe of Benjamin on this boat, and I'm going to put them in Jamaica. And I want everybody, oh, this one's a Levite, this one's a Levite. Okay, cool. All these guys are Levites, right? And their women and their children. Okay, send them to the island of Haiti. How? And then you got like Acts chapter 2. Our people were scattered even back then when we knew we were Israel. You mean to tell me we're way past that and you can identify and trace your lineage? But let's get that Ezra 2 and let's start at, I think I want to start at verse 61. Let me see real fast. Yep, let's start at 61, 62.
And of the children of the priests, the children of Habiah, the children of Kaz, the children of Barzillai, which took a wife of the daughters of Barzillai, the Gileadite, and was called after their name. These sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but they were not found. Therefore were they, as polluted, put from the priesthood.
So we see, if you cannot verify, because it wasn't like, mind you, they knew. Okay, I'm the son of so and so. This is my father. They knew a little something about their genealogy, but they couldn't trace it for sure to say we are the sons of Levi, of the son of the one of these sons of Aaron's for this specific purpose. And so because they couldn't verify that empirically without a shadow of a doubt, full proof, he said, yeah, we can't do that. You can't just be a priest. I mean, I appreciate your willingness. And maybe, these were sincere people. I'm pretty sure that they was really like, oh, we need to go and inquire at the temple to see if, this is our purpose and our calling. I'm pretty sure somebody in there, some young man or some young boy was in there like, wow, me, a priest? That's an honor. Yeah, let's go see. Probably feeling inspired. Man, our lives is about to change. But they was like, unfortunately, because we can't verify for sure, that you from the tribe of Levi and that you of the sons of Aaron and you can qualify to be in this position, we got to count you as polluted. You can't just be any old body claiming to be a priest. And now here we are. Now this was in Israel. This was in the time that we knew we were Israelites. In the time that they knew who they descended from, and we had an established temple and an established Levitical priesthood. This was thousands of years ago. At least 1,000. You mean to tell me it's all that time has passed, all these migrations that have taken place in the earth, all these peoples that have immigrated and left and became refugees, slavery itself, getting on a boat randomly, mind you, they was buying, selling, trading slaves, giving them as gifts. So maybe a Levite did make it to the island of Haiti, and then maybe he was sold to go to Jamaica. Sold to a different slave master. Hey, man, let's trade. I got big, heavy slaves. You got that tall, slim dude. If I start breeding him with the women I got, I bet you I get a good mix. A big and heavy and tall and, yeah, let's trade. However it happened, that's extremely probable. We was getting traded like Pokemon cards. You think you're going to identify and trace back the origin of where someone came from all these years later? Don't even get me started on the ghetto possibility that somebody in your bloodline wasn't really your daddy and got passed off as one of your forefathers. That's a case that happens all the time in the hood. These destroyed marriages and unfortunate circumstances where people are led to believe, oh, this is your son or this is your dad, and the whole time that is not, y'all is not related. There's so many things to consider, but these men cannot verify their lineage and say without a shadow of a doubt they qualify. If you don't qualify, you can't be anointed as a priest. You can't receive the things that are intended for priests. Maybe they were Levites, But because that couldn't be verified, they couldn't just allow them to come into the temple and do the work of the Lord, because they might not be. Let's go to 1 Ezra, chapter 8. So if you out there serving somebody that's claiming to be a Levite, you being extorted. Whether they know it or not, they're extorting you. Whether it's malicious or not, you're being extorted. We can't verify any Levites that I've ever seen or come across. You might not even know who your daddy is. You telling me that and mind you, it just said it in 2 and 62 of Ezra, we're reckoned by genealogy, not geography. You can't tell me somebody's from somewhere or of a particular tribe because they're born in a region of the earth. Oh, yeah, my dad was he immigrated from Spain into Africa. Whole time, you thinking you African or whatever the case may be, your father's a Spaniard. That happens all the time. And as modes of transportation have become more common, it only increases the probability of that happening. I could see if it was, the old days, but even then our people had ports and trades of cities. Pretty sure people were getting on boats and going into new cities and new parts of the earth all the time. That's not how we're tracked. That's why we track by genealogy. 8 and verse 49.
And of the servants of the temple whom David had ordained, and the principal men for the service of the Levites, to wit, the servants of the temple, 220, the catalog of whose names were showed.
The catalog of whose names were showed. So these men couldn't just walk in and, hey, man, I'd like to apply to be a priest. They were verified. Okay, yeah, look in the catalog. Oh, you the son of who? Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I see your dad's name. I see his dad. And boot. Okay, all the way back to you are of this son of Aaron. And this is the role that you can fulfill. You had to be verified. So if you go even into Acts chapter 2, our people were scattered. It said Cretes, Arabians, even the churches, all these books in the New Testament, the church of Corinth, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, the church of Ephesus, Ephesians, the church of Galilee, the Galatians. You can't even tell me what tribe they were from. And this book was completed. This Bible has been complete for how long? And you mean to tell me it's been even longer of a time since then, but I feel it in my spirit. Man, I could believe, man, you could believe a lot of things. Surely. If you walk with Christ, all things are possible. But even Christ, when Satan tempted him, he said, I'm not going to jump off this building to prove I'm not going to do something crazy just to prove something to you. He knew, like, okay, yeah, the Father said he was going to catch me, and I'm not about to do that. So the same thing when we sit up here and, I just have this faith, I just have this belief that I'm of this tribe, I just truly believe. Don't jump. Don't jump because you believe. That's tempting the Most High. Saying I'm a Levite, But you know what it's about. It's about that money. It's that extortion. Portraying an authority that they do not have to be able to get what they need from the people. And if you supporting them, shame on you. Unless you don't know no better, in which case, Most High willing, you learn. But once you know and you continue to give, that's your bad. Like I said, you can go burn your money if that's what you want to do. Shred it. Let's go to 1 Timothy 6. We're going to get 6, start at verse 5. We're going to read 5 down to 10.
1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 5. Perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness, from which withdraw thyself.
So perverse disputings of men of corrupt minds. So for one, there's always, the disputes, the debates, the online fiascos with corrupt minds, because a lot of times, and that's why we don't really engage in debates, and all praises that we don't. There is a need to defend the gospel, but it'd be like people done debated the same topic 10 times in the past, 3 years. You ain't trying to repent, you trying to teach somebody. And they already know, because it's like a celebrity. A celebrity knows they got to make everything look good. I got to do everything with some style, with some flash to it. That's what make you like special and like worthy to be celebrated. That's what makes people want to gravitate. People come up with their own little lingo. People come up with their own little way of doing things, and it's like, he's so cool. He just does the way he do that. Trying to monetize, exactly. They like, I'm the biggest brand I got, so I'm finna monetize myself. So they get on these debates, they get on these platforms, they throw themselves up before the people, and they try to just out smooth and out talk and out charisma everybody, because they know the same way that Christ is looking for one to be saved, they looking for one that's gonna keep lining their pockets. I just need one person of the, how many? 106 viewers. Okay, let me make sure I'm doing this right now, because I'll just need a couple of them. If I could just get 1 or 2 consistent customers, how many more thousands did I just add to myself per year? And it ain't even about the debate. It's not about feeding the sheep. It's not about getting to the righteous doctrine so that we can make sure that we're presentable when Yahushua returns. It's not about repentance. It's about, let me show myself to be a certain way because I'm looking for somebody to gravitate, because I'm looking for that check. It says, supposing that gain is godliness. Read on.
Verse 6, but godliness with contentment is great gain.
He said, but godliness with contentment is great gain. Supposing gain is godliness is, I'm blessed. I'm in this Benz. I'm in this AMG. I'm in this G-Wagon. I'm blessed. But you destroying and selling out your people to get that money. Is it really a blessing? Is it worth it? So many of our righteous forefathers didn't have to subvert themselves to be able to gain the riches and favor of the Most High. And these dudes will tell you all day, every day. And you know what's crazy? Why is it that we tend to only call ourselves blessed when it's financial? You could be blessed with children. Like, man, it's just, some Jakes will tell you, it's like, man, every time he touches, you get pregnant. But that's a blessing as long as they're righteous children. If you're a righteous man and you having a whole bunch of kids, that's the Most High using you to increase the nation, because you're multiplying yourself and you have a good spirit. There should be more of you. You could be blessed with a good wife. The scriptures say that's of the Lord. The Lord considers that of a great price. He said, hey, ain't too many of the good ones are down there. So if he gave you a good one, it came with a great price. That's a blessing. You could be blessed with a sound mind. We're in Babylon, the cage of every hateful and foul spirit, the cage of all these unclean acts and doctrines, and to be able to still have your mind intact, that's a blessing. Then don't the scripture say, he said, give me any plague but the plague of the mind. He said, man, I'll tell whatever else you got, as long as I can keep my mind intact. You know what's crazy? I've been seeing a lot of that stuff on Instagram. People are disabled, paraplegics, they got all different types of things going on with them. But they like, I still got my mind, so I'm going to do this. They can't move, but they can think. And they come up with plans, and they monetize themselves, and they're able to still draw up, operations for a business. They're able to still do so many things, because even though I'm talking about the neck down, do not work. But they got their mind, and they realize how powerful that is. People don't sit up here and say, hey, man, you know what? You got your head on your shoulders. That's a blessing. A man with his head on his shoulders, but that's broke, he's not going to get the same recognition. He's not going to get the same reverence as a man that could be a total ass with some money. You could be, you know, what does the scripture say? I was reading that yesterday with my rib. Controlling your tongue is a blessing. To be given wisdom and understanding is a blessing. Why is it always just a financial gain? But that's the thing. You can get roped in and really think that they godly men because they keep teaching you, well, as long as you got the money, then that's a blessing. It is. It can be. Scriptures say that the Most High blessed Job with twice as much as he had before. It's not that. That's wicked. Again, dang, I can't believe I missed it. Let's go to... I want to get this one because you know this one get misquoted all the time. They be like, money is the root of all evil. Are we in 1 Timothy 6? It's right here. Okay, it's next. Let's keep reading.
Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out.
Uh-huh.
And having food and raiment, let us be there with content.
Uh-huh.
But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition.
He says sometimes it's better. Sometimes it really is better for us to not have the things that we think we want. Everybody, for the most part, wants riches, right? But imagine how much, like, if people struggle with stuff and, you know, people gotta... If you have, how am I trying to say this? If you have a level of community and accountability and we still find ways to go astray, imagine how much worse that would be if you had unlimited money or unlimited money for you. Some people, they need, you know, big money to be able to go out and do they dirt. But some people, they need a couple dollars. They need a car, they need some gas, they need a plane ticket. You struggling and you desiring a wife, nothing wrong with having the desire, but you able to fly out whoever you want to. Man, she seems like she's solid. Go ahead and spend this whatever to get this plane ticket and fly her out here. And now you got an expectation just as much as she does. Ain't proved nothing, ain't seen nothing, and boom, laid. Just because you got the money and it's at your disposal, it's really not the best thing. Sometimes that's why the Most High will put us in certain positions, because that's not the right time for it. You'll only further destroy yourself with the resources than help yourself. Go ahead.
Verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil.
And that's the one that people be misquoting. You know, money's the root of all evil. You know that money's the root of all evil. Oh, money's the root of all evil. Like, bro, that's like, so then take your wallet out and throw it as far away from you as you can. Get rid of all your money. Like, that's not what the scriptures tell us to do. He said the love of money. Nothing wrong with having it. Nothing wrong with being in good positions. Nothing wrong with experiencing some good things in this life, as long as they don't overtake you. But when you love the money, and it's like, man, I just can't get right till I got however much. Just can't, not because I'm trying to pay bills, but because I love what that money does. I love how it allows me to influence. People regard me. People worship me. People treat me different. I can't lose this. All right, you want me to come in on Saturday? Okay, I will. You want me to say what? Okay, I will. You want me to tell them? Okay, all right, whatever it is, because that becomes your God. Whatever you got to do in the service and the quest for monetary gain becomes a necessity. That's when that money's dangerous. When there's a love for that money. He said that's the beginning of all evil. That's where it's all going to start, that desire and that possibility. Go ahead.
For the love of money is the root of all evil.
Why?
Which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows.
He said, because you chasing that more than you are the faith. More than you are something that's really going to have value and really be able to positively impact your life. Some people, man, you know how many instances of, I was just watching, man, I wish I would have saved it. It was some football player, and people was like, blowing $30 million should be illegal. He was in the NFL, $30 million contract, played for years, and he was back in the projects, towing people around his hood, just like he did probably a decade before being a young man. It's like, damn, what happened? 30, bro, you went through 30 M's? How? I read another story about a man who was in, I think, in the UK or the EU. Basically, he was, somewhere in Europe. And he had won their lottery, like 9 million pounds or something like that. Crazy money. And within like 8 or 9 years, he had blew it all. Was right back. He said he was right back to being a garbage man and just, dealing with trucks and dumping people trash. He was like, oh, I just had a blast. It's like, yeah, but damn, what your kids got? I'd be low-key hot. Like, man, we struggling and we eating these little, the salami, the fried salami sandwich with the mustard. We eating the peanut butter toast for dinner. Like, we eating the beans and rice every night. Like, man, we got it rough. And you had how much and blew it? But that's like a common story. Big money that goes. It's not always the best. And it becomes even worse when we err from the faith to be able to get that money. Last one. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 10. Let's get 22 through 25.
Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 21.
22.
Verse 22.
Uh-huh.
Let us draw near with a true heart and full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water.
Go ahead.
Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised.
Go ahead.
And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works.
So he said, let us approach with the right mindset, with the right spirit, cleansing ourselves, adopting and accepting the profession that we've been called. It said, from our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. If you're doing this sincerely, and you're walking uprightly, he said, the scriptures talk about how much of a reward there is for the righteous. We just got through reading how Peter said, I'm going to be a partaker of the glory that is to come. That's what the righteous hope for. It's nice to be able to have these things, but even if you sit up here and you got to work and, you got to figure things out, it should still be in the back of your mind, I'm only doing this because it's way easier to be able to be involved with the people, be involved with the church, and not potentially fall into sin if I'm not completely broke. Solomon said that. He said, don't make me too rich unless I forget you, but also don't make me too poor where I got to steal. And, I put this to shame. That should be our mentality. And if you get excess, then you should be giving freely. If you get a whole lot, then you should be giving a whole lot. That's what's needed amongst our people. People need, and like the scriptures say, money answereth all things. You can get a lot accomplished with money. But it shouldn't be the forefront of concern when it comes down to the faith. And it should be exactly what it is, a tool. This is a tool to assist my people. This is a tool to assist the ministry. This is a tool to help my brother. Oh, you down on hard times? Oh, man, you don't know how you finna eat tonight, bro? I got you. Oh, don't trip. That's what it's supposed to be for. But our people become insatiable. Got a nice house in the hills. You got a brand new car. You taking crazy pictures. You've had all this luxury and you have all this. And then it's like the pressure's on when, oh no, the luxury might end. I'm going to just have to stay at the house for a month. I ain't going to be able to go to the rich like I do every time. Man, it's stressful. I can't do this. It's like in Wall Street. How many years ago was that? I think that was the 2008 recession. People had lost millions, maybe billions, and they was killing themselves. Like, damn, bro, you lost 80% of your hedge fund. I get it, but you still got like what, 2-3 million in there. Man, you still got something. You could turn it around. The same way you had to climb and fight to get in this position and find the success that you have now, you could do it again. I'm not going to say it's easy. I'm not going to sit up here and say that. But it's possible. But them people love that money so much, they was like, man, if I'm not going to have this money, I'd rather just die. They was jumping out of windows. Cracking, and it ain't like them skyscraper windows open up most of the time. You got to break that window and still be so distraught by the time you get the window broken to jump. If I'm not going to live this life the way that I just can't do it. Can't go back to being just to have a regular sense of life or a plain, I don't want to be content with some basics. I want the fly life, the high life. Finish that. Oh, so like 24. Start at 24, please.
And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is.
Go ahead.
But exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching.
He said, provoke each other to love and the good works. So pushing each other to do more, to do better, to rise to the occasion, and not forsaking the assembling of ourselves. But when we come together, we have an opportunity to exhort. I was talking to Bishop Tazaiwan, I think like 2 nights ago. Just talking, just chopping it up. He's known me since I was a young man, really a boy. And he was like, man, let me speak some life into you. And just think about it like this and remember this. And I'm like, man, all praises. Something I wouldn't have heard if I wasn't coming and, coming to see brothers or, here amongst the community. And it's not always easy. We're in a weird space of time in our generations where everybody wants to be solo and isolated, and I'm not going to say I never have understood it, but there is a need for us to return unto each other and have these opportunities to hear these things and be exhorted and be built up in our minds and be helped. He said, y'all push each other and exhort each other, encourage each other, even more as you see the day approaching. This is like the last generations that will ever be. After this, there is an eternal kingdom or an eternal judgment waiting for each and every one of us. There's a need for us to see each other and be able to encourage each other, to build each other up. And I know it's hard. I know it's this. I know it's that. Man, I done had a number of them conversations where I'm like, man, I'm in my feelings. Yeah, I get it. It is tough, but we got a job to do. We have a people that have, if you going through it and you got a sound mind or you have some wisdom and some understanding, imagine how much more your people are going through it that may not have what you have. So if you need to be exhorted, how much more your everyday Israelite? How much more your everyday brother and sister? How much more do all your people need that encouragement, need that upliftment, need that help? And we shouldn't be doing it for pay. For the righteous, for those that do the works that are acceptable in Christ's sight, he said, man, it hasn't even entered into the hearts of man to understand the things that he has waiting for the righteous. You had anything you wanted to bring up? No. Well, all praise to the Most High Israel. I hope this was edifying. I hope this has been an eye-opener maybe for somebody that's in those predicaments. To not be extorted. And maybe if somebody, I ain't going to say I would bet on it, but maybe someone who is extorting to be like, man, this is serious. Let me change and stop doing this and that. So, again, hopefully it was edifying. We give all praise to the Most High. Please continue to tune in with us. We have class tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, Bishop Yazequel with War for the Kingdom. And we have Feed the Sheep with Bishop Tazaiwan. That's 4:30 Pacific Standard. Shalom, Israel.
If it wasn't for the Most High who was on my side, man, ain't no telling where I'd be.
Mr. Wilson would've known.
Can't nobody tell me nothing different. The Father's been good to me.
So good to me.
Yeah. Wave your hands if you feel me. I'm a witness. Yahweh's been good to me.
So good to me.
Every morning that I rise, I thank Yahweh that I'm living. Keep my enemies at bay and never leave without my fringes. 1611.